So hello everybody, welcome back. I hope that you like this video and that you find it helpful somehow. And that is the moon, and that is why we have a little bit of light in here. Quite frankly, as you can tell, there is light in there, and that is because my neighbor has a generator. And as you can tell, there is another house over there that has a generator also, and there is another one up there, and there are a lot of people that are buying generators, and of course there are cars all over that will help you out with the light when there is no power. So anyway, grab your tea. I will recommend getting a tea for this video. So anyway, this is the second video that I'm trying to do about this topic. We have had issues here. It's insane. The whole situation about electricity. And so I'm going to try to explain a lot of things. A lot of things are myth, as in they are lies. And a lot of things are kind of true. By the way, I'm sick because I have been under so much stress for the last 3 months, actually since November last year. So it has been insanity level of stress in the last 2 weeks. You see, I made a video about preparation for the eclipse because I thought that it was very interesting. The part about people thinking that that when the government says that there will be an emergency and all of these things is because of a zombie invasion, or maybe a vampire invasion, or maybe I don't know, an alien invasion, or maybe it's a combination of the three. I don't know, but the government tells you that there is an emergency coming because of influx of people, meaning when you have an area that it is supposed to sustain, let's say 10,000 people, but you have a major thing going on in there, like, I don't know, it's hot season, so to speak, let's say Valentine's Day, and then if you're planning on getting a hotel that day, you're not getting any, and that is called an emergency because you are going to have 40,000 people in a place that can hold 10,000 people, and then that is going to put a strain in all of the resources, and the government might even ask for the National Guard and all of these things to help, because there is too many people that do not know the area. There is too many people that will be taking all of the resources like water, food from the supermarkets, and everything else. And so if you were planning, let's say that this, by the way, this happens in Aruba, or at least it used to happen every single weekend. Let me tell you why. Because Venezuelans, Aruba is an island that is very, very, very close to Venezuela. It's about half an hour on a plane, maybe less. And it's one of those things that people used to go there to have a lot of fun during the weekends. So Venezuelans have a thing about buying everything that they can buy in Aruba because they can't find it here. So since Chavez took power and then the scarcity started to happen, if you wanted to get medicines, or if you wanted to get food of certain things like Parmesan cheese or certain type of wines, or whatever it was, and you had the money and you didn't want to import them, or because the supermarkets were not importing these things fast enough or whatever, people just went to Aruba. And every Friday, Arubians, the people in there, they knew that if they did not buy their food only Monday to Thursdays. If they were going to go to the supermarket on Friday, they knew that on Friday all the supermarkets will be empty. And so this put a lot of a strain in the resources in Aruba. And so Aruba talked to their citizens, and people started talking and said, hey, look, the island basically is ours Monday through Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, and Sundays is going to be Venezuelans. So basically, we are not allowed to leave our house after Friday, because if you leave your house, then basically you are going to be, meeting people all over, and not necessarily in a friendly way and things like this. And so when the government says something like the eclipse is going to affect these things and you need to close down the schools and things like that, that is because also when there is a lot of foreigners coming, that also means that there is a higher probability of getting sick. There is a higher probability of getting all kinds of issues, okay? Including but not limited to terrorist attacks and things like this. And so that's why the government was issuing these warnings. It's not because they were planning on getting like I said, sorry, I'm sick. It's not because they're planning to get the alien invasion. Quite frankly, if anyone on the government, including but not limited to the soldiers, understood that there was going to be an alien invasion on that day, they will not be working. And so the proof being is the fact that whenever there is an emergency in my country, no one is working. And the electricity here is one of those topics. So several things. Number one, we are having issues with the electricity for several reasons. Number one, the electricity was done, our electricity is analogic. That being said, it means that it is produced by the water dams and things like this, and so it is not controlled by AI or electronics or anything like that. Everything has to be done by sensors and things like this, which are mechanic and they are electronic, but not to the point in which they are all going to be interconnected to the internet or anything like that. They were always, a washout by regular people. That means engineers were on site 24/7, no matter what. And there was at least 25 engineers on site just in case of emergencies. And even though that you might only need, I don't know, let's say 15 or 20, but there was always 25 just in case or something like this. That was the point, because if you have the electricity from the entire country, you cannot afford to, be missing one engineer and then messing up the numbers. And so the electrical engineers in my country are very, very, very top notch. And they were also training all the time abroad, meaning if you were an electrical engineer and you were in my country before Chavez, I mean before Chavez, okay? I'm not talking about after Chavez, because after Chavez, just screw it. After Chavez, this became like a circus or whatever you want to call it, or you can even call it, I don't know, maybe we have been already invaded by the aliens, the zombie and the vampires, and this is why we're having so much trouble. Anyway, it's probably going to be destroyed. Because the zombies are going to be kind of like, yeah, nothing good to eat here. There is no young people. There is nothing to do here. And so we're leaving. Anyway. So before Chavez, like I said, the electricity, the engineers were trained abroad. You needed to go out. You needed to make businesses in other countries. You needed to have a lot of emergency things, because we were also exporting energy to Colombia and to Brazil, and we were even thinking about exporting to other countries. So if you are going to export a resource like this, and Colombia is now with no power for 2 days because of you, yeah, that means war. So you can imagine, no? And so you need to understand this one, because electricity is always going to be imported from another state. and another country, regardless of where you are. Reason being is that all countries share nets like cables and towers and stuff like that. It's kind of like when you have a cell phone tower that, if it is near the border, then you will work for both Mexico and the US, or Canada and the US, or whatever it is, okay? The reason being, well, like I said, it is very little infrastructure, and if you have the advantage, then you set up the infrastructure and then you make money out of it. Also, it will help in case there is war, because you can just shut down that resource. So, for example, right now, Russia exported gas and exported a lot of things to the EU, as in the European Union and things like this. And because of the war and the political tensions, they say, hey, we're not exporting things to you anymore. And then the European Union is kind of screwed. And so energy is going to be exported and imported, and it's going to also be imported and exported from other states. So let's say that you are in the United States. Some things like gas or oil or diesel, or I don't know, whatever it is, you can export it, for example, from Texas to Florida. The reason being, well, you are within the same country, but you are not within the same state.